The first trees that we learn about, of course, are in the Garden of Eden. We're told that they feed us, and also that trees somehow have the capacity, some of them, to put us to give us a quandary, to force us to make certain moral choices. We learn that trees are can be tied to emotions. One such example later on in Genesis is under which Rebecca's nurse, Devorah, was buried. And there's a close attachment between these women. And so the tree becomes known as a weeping tree. We learn about Jonah, and towards the end of the story, when he takes refuge and rests against the Kikayon, this tree, and is very, very upset when God destroys the tree. So this tree becomes a friend, becomes a support. We learn about the tree of life. We also learn from prophets, for example, Hosea and Ezekiel, about trees in a very different light that indicate to us that ancient Jews sometimes held trees to be holy, and the prophets frowned upon this. And when I read about this in the past week, it reminded me of a passage in Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Elazar of Bartota said, "Give to him," which him to God, "give to God of that which is God's." So you should give sacrifices to God, to stuff that descends from the stuff that God has given us, and that which is yours is also God's. And thus it says with regards to David, "For everything that comes from you, God, and from your own hand, God, have we given back to you." Rabbi Jacob said, and here's the catch, Rabbi Jacob said, if one is studying or praying while walking along the road and interrupts one's study to say, "Oh, look at that gorgeous tree," that the Torah says that such a person deserves capital punishment. Any thoughts about that? Any theories? Any Cindy? I can't. Oh, hold on. Let me go back into gallery view. Okay, that's better. Cindy, I think I saw a hand. Go on, respond.
As a tree hugger, I have to I have to argue with that because who made the tree?
Oh, okay. So that, of course, yes, that makes a lot of sense. But hey, this tree is from God. What's wrong with saying this tree is gorgeous? Why do I suddenly deserve the death penalty? And yes, I'm with you on that. Any other theories? Dan.
Are we?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So the Talmud sometimes deals in hyperbole. This is an example of the hyperbole.
I love it. Okay, anything else? Karen, are you putting up a hand? No, I'm disappointed. I was expecting a strong emotive response from you to this. So,
although I like Lewis's comment that it's treason. I think that
oh, it's treason. So
That's
that
where the word
actually
came from.
brings us closer to the point that day, okay, before I reveal the point, not that I'm the great revealer, but go ahead, Bonnie.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. You're saying that they said that people who harm a tree should be, I just didn't catch that.
No,
Could
you're
you say it
walking
again?
along the road, you're studying some Torah text, and suddenly this magnificent tree catches your eye and you say, "Oh, that tree is amazing." Such a person deserves capital punishment. So
The person who says the tree is amazing
yes,
capital punishment. I think I just didn't want to hear that.
No, I thought not. Karen Schaefer, and Karen Schaefer gets the last comment. Go ahead.
I really don't understand why that would be said.
Oh, Karen, unmute yourself so we can hear you, please.
I do want to share this Tu B'Shvat cartoon.
It distracted him away from reading the Torah.
Exactly. So look, number one, it has distracted him. Number two, in being distracted, the scholar has placed the tree above the Torah, greater than the Torah, there is a certain worship of the tree instead of being focused on Torah, which is greater than everything.
Oh, it
So
means the
I'm
person's
with
a
all
pagan,
of you who say
showing
this is
pagan
a little bit
tendencies.
extreme. It's treasonous to our core ethos of Torah and study. But this is the message that even though, and herein lies a pretty powerful point, even though a tree is created by God, it is not God. And we have a risk of transferring divinity onto things, and Dan said exaggerating, possibly excessively, and saying, well, this is a substitute for God because God made it. And that could lead us astray, and we've got to be careful. Sometimes we do that to people. Sometimes we say, well, this is a son of child of God, and therefore let's worship him. We got to be careful. We do not worship the Torah. We worship God, not the Torah itself. So, I think therein is the message. Let me keep going because I don't want to keep you till all hours of the day. Here is a quick anecdote, an agadah, a legend from the Talmud, which many of you will have heard before. I just find it so touchingly beautiful that I've got to share it with you. There was a man named Choni Hama'agal. His name was Choni, and he was well known for drawing circles. And this was some kind of divination, some kind of way of appealing to God. I don't know if it has anything to do, with Celtic labyrinths and that kind of thing. If maybe the labyrinths come from this idea that you draw a circle in the ground and you start meditating on this. In any way, Choni was well known for creating miracles, especially making it rain by praying to God through the circles that he would draw. Choni was walking along the road when he saw a certain person planting a carob tree. Choni said to him, "This tree, come on, how many years will it take to bear fruit?" And the planter said to him, "It's not going to bear fruit for at least 70 years. Choni said to him, "What's the point? It's obvious that, is it obvious to you that you will live 70 years? Do you really think that you're going to live long enough to benefit from the fruit of this tree?" And he responds, the man himself said, "I came into a world that was full of carob trees, just as my ancestors planted for me. I too am planting for my descendants." So Choni sat, he eats some bread, he turns into the Jewish Rip Van Winkle, he falls asleep, and he sleeps for 70 years. When he wakes up, he sees a person gathering carobs from the tree. I'm getting goosebumps. And Choni said to him, "Hey, are you the guy who planted this tree?" And the man said, "No, I'm his grandson." And Choni said to this, "I can learn from this that I've slept 70 years. And the message really filters down into not just his intellectual understanding, but into his soul about what a gift it is for us to be involved in the forestation of this world. And of course, one can expand that to other metaphors, to educating. If we educate our kids, they might educate their kids, etc., etc. So I just love that story. Here's last one. The Gemara relates. Whoops, and I just lost it. Okay, I'm going to go to my page instead. The Gemara relates. When they were saying goodbye to each other, Rav Nachman said to Rabbi Yitzchak, "Master, give me a blessing." Rabbi Yitzchak said to him, "I'll tell you a parable. To what could your request for a blessing be compared? It's comparable to one who was walking through a desert and who was hungry, tired, and thirsty. All of a sudden, the person finds a tree whose fruits were sweet and whose shade was pleasant, and a stream of water flowed beneath it. He ate from the fruits of the tree, drank from the water in the stream, and sat in the shade of the tree. And when he was ready to go, he said, "Tree, tree, how shall I bless you? If I say to you that your fruits should be sweet, your fruits are already sweet. If I say to you that your shade should be pleasant, your shade is already pleasant. If I say that a stream of water should flow beneath you, a stream of water already flows beneath you. So rather, let me bless you as follows. May it be God's will that all saplings which they plant from you should be blessed to be just like you."